UK, and both our direct and our indirect federal members. So that presents two challenges, actually. One, if you're a member of a big co-op like Co-op Group, it's sometimes hard to have a direct dialogue with the movement through your larger co-op. And the second thing that happens is that we have individuals who want to be kept up to date with all our information, or individuals from around the world who want to be kept up to date, and we have no mechanism to do that. So we're going to trial something. We're going to enable, so we can't make you members, we can't make you voting members, our rule book doesn't allow that, but you can be member supporters, in effect, as individuals. So we're just going to trial that for just £3 a month, you can become an individual supporter of Co-operatives UK. You get a badge, you connect, you learn, you get advice, you get exclusive resources, and you also get the member benefits in terms of the discounts to come into spaces like Co-op Congress. And as one of our first member supporters, you'll be able to help shape what this community becomes in the future. When I first started at Co-operatives UK, and it was the back end of the pandemic, and I was jumping on to different screens across the country regularly, and I'd hear people who are a member of 1, 2, 3. The maximum I got to is 17 co-ops. That was Vivian Woodell. I'm not sure if anyone can beat Vivian. But they all talked about how you only speak to your co-op, and it's quite hard to speak to the movement. So this is a bit of a trial. So please, reception, you can join. Like I said, it's just £3 a month. You'll get your badge. You can wear it with pride, and let's see whether that trial works or not. So thank you for that, and please spread the word. So you can see on screen a QR code and the URL to find out more and sign up, or you can go down to reception and speak to one of our Co-operative UK colleagues. But right now, we can be heroes. We'll hear about some of the most inspiring examples of cooperatives and the co-op heroes involved with them. Also in the council chamber, the Woodcraft folk are hosting a session, inspiring the next generation, creating a youth inclusion movement. So I am very pleased, though, here in the main hall to invite to the stage an absolute brilliant ambassador for the cooperative movement, and also a very good friend. It's Denise Scott-McDonald, President of Co-op Group's National Members Council, who is my hero.
Thank you, Rose. Can you hear me? Yes? Yeah. Thank you, Rose, for that. Actually, Rose is probably more of a hero. You're more of a hero. You've been amazing work over the last few years to really sort of raise that standard and raise the voice of the cooperative movement. And today's subject, We Can Be Heroes, I think is really, really powerful because I come to conference and I hear lots of stories and I get really inspired. And this panel, there are some amazing examples. And the most thing I love about this panel is you're ordinary but extraordinary. And I think it lines up with the title, We Can Be Heroes. So I think today it should more be about you guys asking us questions. So I'm going to ask each panel member to introduce themselves. Tell us what they're doing. I mean, we've got a cooperative dentist, we've got a youth worker, we've got media, we've got housing, and ask them to tell them their story very, very briefly. So I want you to introduce yourself. I want you to also say what you do, but I also want you to give us an example of transformation and change you've brought to the people you've impacted. Then after that, I would like to throw it to the audience and let us hopefully try and have a conversation. Right, so I do have you in order. So the first person, I think, just hold on a minute. I took a photocopy. Is it Larke? Larke, go for it, Larke.
Am I switched on? I am. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Larke Adger, and I'm from West Granton Housing Co-op, which is a small housing cooperative in North Edinburgh. I'm the chief exec there, and I've worked with West Granton for 22 years, and I've been working for housing cooperatives for about 24 years in total. So very briefly on the screen there, you can see this is where West Granton was before we became the co-op. So we were council owned, and that is what it looks like today. So the transformation has been incredible. But more than that, it's been more about the tenants coming together and governing their own community. That comes with a lot of challenges, which I'm quite happy to share later on. But we are celebrating our 35th anniversary as we are the International Year of Cooperatives. We are very, very much tenant-led, and genuinely our tenants are paramount in everything that we do. Everything that we do is about them. The reason we come to work is for them, and we've made a huge difference to a lot of lives, and I'm happy to share that later on.
Brilliant. Next is Glen, who is a community dentist.
So, morning everybody. My name's Glen Taylor. I'm Chief Operating Officer for Community Dentist CDS CIC. I'm based in the east of England. We're an award-winning social enterprise. We're employee-owned, a member of the cooperatives. We work, as I work in the east of England, so I look after Essex, Bedfordshire, Norfolk and Waveney. My colleague Nicola looks after Lincolnshire, Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire. We have, get my facts right, 58 clinics. We deliver 65,000 appointments yearly. The government's new supervised toothbrushing programme, we've been doing that for years. We have 5,500 children in supervised toothbrushing programmes. We have mobile dental units. We've done about 2,000 appointments or visits on our mobile dental units. One of the things that I've managed to achieve in the past year is we've always bought second-hand mobile units, which are good, and the lorries are 10, 20 years old and not as fit for purpose I'd want them to be. We've used our surplus to buy 2 brand new purpose-built mobile dental units, which are as green as they can be. They run on biofuel, they have solar panels. I personally use them at special educational needs schools, which is very, very valuable. We take care to people that can't access normal dental care, such as that. And a mobile unit being in a school, it's their safe place, it's what they're used to, and it makes it much easier for the parents because they don't have to take their child out of that setting and with all the stress involved, and we can see them in the school.
Thank you. Next, we have Vilte, and you're a media company. Afterwards, we've got Alison.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Vilte, and I'm from Media Co-op. Media Co-op has been creating content for over 20 years. It was a big 2-0 last year, and we celebrated with a big bash. And we are a workers' cooperative, flat pay, which is very unusual in our industry. We also work exclusively for public sector, third sector, other cooperatives, the Principle 6 in action. So we make live action films, animations, graphics for all sorts of purposes, from training materials, campaigns, case studies to inspire people and have quality, impact assessment for all the kind of things that you guys do. Like I mentioned, cooperative model is very unusual in media industry, which usually is very hierarchical, very competitive, and from the get-go, Media Co-op said, that's not how we're going to do things. We want to create a healthy workplace for ourselves and also make the experience of appearing in a film or creating a film as pleasant as possible for people in front of the camera, as well as behind the camera. We were very lucky to be commissioned by Cooperatives UK to create an 8-minute induction film, which will be launched very soon. It was an ambitious task. The brief was to include as many cooperatives as possible in a short film, but also capture meaningful experiences so that people can relate to them. So whether they've just joined a cooperative or they've been a member, and hopefully to inspire them to take an active role in the process. And here is an exclusive sneak peek 2-minute preview of what we've made.
I'm happier here than anywhere I've worked.
Where I shop, I can make a difference to things that I care about. Where I live, I get a say on what my housing is like.
In my football club, I get a say on ticket prices, so football is affordable for all. Because my club is a co-op owned and run by the fans, we set the prices.
Our co-op is owned by us, the members.
Our housing is run by us, the tenants.
The workers own this business. In my old job, the boss made the rules and you couldn't question them. It was demotivating, inefficient, and it made us all miserable. Here at Green City, because we are owned by the workers, we don't have a boss. We work as a team. I actually want to be here. Why not? The co-op paid for my forklift certification. It's a skill I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. I'm not scared to put forward ideas. I suggested a new truck would help, and we got one.
Cooperatives do business better.
Why? Because we are owned and run by our members.
Cooperatives make decisions for the long term that are in the best interests of its members and the business, not just a small group of shareholders.
And this makes our business resilient and sustainable.
And because we own our business, we are motivated to make it succeed.
So when you join a cooperative,
You join a co-op movement.
That's building a better world.
Cooperatives owned by our members.
Thank you for that. I recognise someone from the National Members Council in that video. It was Rachel. Was Rachel in the room? She was in there. I saw you. That was Rachel. She's hiding in the back. Well done. Well done. Well done for that. Okay, then we got Alison next. And Alison, I know I was at an event at the beginning of this week in Parliament. Your organisation, Bright Futures, is celebrating 5 years anniversary, and it was a really powerful event. But go ahead.
Thank you, Denise. Hello, everyone. I'm Alison, Scowen. I work for the Co-op Group in my day job, and I'm also a director of Bright Future Co-operative. Bright Future began as a project within the Co-op Group, trying to create employment opportunities for survivors of modern slavery. Co-op Group was campaigning between 2017 and 2020 on modern slavery. And we came to realise that actually one of the most important things that we can do as a society is to ensure that survivors of modern slavery are supported into sustainable freedom. And that can be done through creating employment opportunities. We started to do that within the Co-op Group, and we realised quickly that we had an idea that we needed others to join us on to make it sustainable and to grow at pace. So we brought in other employers, including, and I'd like to shout out Mid-Counties and the other co-ops coming to us very early on to support our vision. We work with a range of charities, and the cooperative model has been brilliant for what we're trying to achieve, because we have employers who are there to provide employment opportunities for survivors, but then we've got charities who are supporting survivors, and then the cooperative solution is ideal. It actually came to us, in some ways I didn't want to fight against it, but we worked through all of the possible models for Bright Future, and the cooperative model was the perfect one. And on screen you'll see, Denise mentioned the event in Parliament earlier on this week. 5 years of a cooperative, as a cooperative, and Jess Phillips, the Minister for Modern Slavery, has been a massive advocate for Bright Future and everything we're doing. And actually, I think what the story of Bright Future does, and this is just a perfect place that we're celebrating it, that is that the cooperative model is so adaptable. We had an issue, we needed to come together, pool our resources, unite behind a common vision, and the cooperative model made that possible. And my favourite, and I'll stop now, but the fact that we got Lidl and Morrison's to join a cooperative, that just tickles me every day. The fact that the logic of the cooperative model appealed to them and they joined us. So thank you.
Brilliant. Well done. Perry, you do youth work, don't you? 21 up.
Hello?
Yeah.
So I could talk for days about the work that I do and why I decided to start doing it. So firstly, I will play a short video that will give you a bit of an insight on my background, my journey, and why I do the work that I do. And then, yeah, I'll say a few words after. Read fast. Just putting it out there. Hope you enjoy it.
I see you winning, I'm winning. We all are winning. You're winning, I'm winning. We all are winning. I'd rather congratulate you than to hate you. I see you winning, I'm winning. We all are winning for life. Winning for life. Yeah. Tell me why you dey hate on your brother? Why you dey stubborn for corner? And why you want push and for gutter? Why you dey hate one another? Cause nowadays, every man for himself. When the trouble come, they run away. When we're holiday, you're supposed to stick with your brother and stick with your sister. So when I then win, you then win, oh. I can be the leader, you be hero. We all they find medicine, we go cure poverty for real. I see you winning, I'm winning. We all are winning, you're winning, I'm winning. We all are winning. I'd rather congratulate you than to hate you. I see you winning, winning. We all are winning for life. Winning for life. I see you winning. You don't waste your time if you think say you fit for me. Yeah. No matter how you try, Baba God still there for me. You they follow twe, they hear woto. But bad news no they win loto. Now good news be the sign for my motto. Now you know my logo. You they follow twe, they hear woto. But bad news no they win loto. Now good news be the sign for my motto.
Yeah.
I'm kind of speechless. Thank you. So yeah, that kind of says a lot about the journey of the 21 Up movement. And the reason I put together the video was because sometimes when I speak on the more delicate subjects at the start, it can just overwhelm me a little bit, because a lot of the work that I do is built on the trauma within me. So I'm a strong believer that we can all turn trauma into triumph, our pain into passion, and our wounds into wisdom with the right mentality. So with the work that I do, I try and instill that belief system into young people so they can feel empowered. It's just like all of us on this panel now, we're all adults and we're in the spotlight right now. You'd think we will be noticed in the spotlight, but sometimes when we speak on stage and the microphone's passed to the next person, we can still feel invisible. That's why I feel it's very important to allow people to feel recognized. And a lot of young people in today's world don't feel recognized. And I feel that events like today and everyone coming together, it bridges that gap. I was just upstairs on the youth panel and seeing some of the amazing work that the young people are doing, it was just so inspiring and I was so proud. And today was the first time I met them, you know? And my two young people are over there now, Usman and Abdi, and he's been there. Stand up, be seen. I feel it's so important for us to recognize each other as individuals, because we may be considered heroes in the community, but there's a hero within us all. Absolutely. Every single one of you. But you just need to believe it, and it will come out. I promise you. Trust me. Believe in the process. Thank you.
Hold on. Thank you for that. And we also have Alison from GL. I also have to confess, I am a Greenwich councillor, and we do have a contract with GL. I know GL started in Greenwich. It's called Greenwich Leisure Limited. So
it did indeed, yeah. Yeah, Greenwich Leisure Limited. So we started in Greenwich, in London, in 1993, and we've been going for 33 years now, and we're proud to still stand by our cooperative values. We work with local authorities. They're up and down the country. 50 local partners to be exact, just over, sorry. We're a co-op, we're a charitable social enterprise, and we're non-for-profit. So we reinvest all of our surplus into our communities, into our people, and into our facilities. I'm a partnership manager. I'm based in Newcastle, so I oversee the facilities we run there. But I also have a second role within our organisation, and I'm really proud that I sit on the worker board for GLL and have that governance role. And our workforce really do have a voice of how our organisation is shaped and how we grow. We're very values driven. Our mission is simple. We want to improve the health, mental and social well-being of the communities that we serve. And my day-to-day role is really making sure that whatever we do across Newcastle, we embed those values. As you can imagine, working with so many local authorities up and down the country, the challenge to meet the needs of the community is different. Rural Cumbria to our major cities, Manchester, London, Belfast, York, is very different. Even across Newcastle itself, the demand, the need is hugely different. 23% of people in Newcastle live in the top 10% of deprived areas nationally. And I'll give you a small example of work we do. Walker, one of the most deprived areas in the city. We run, if you don't know Newcastle, we're football crazy up there. And we run 4 free sessions a week just at Walker Activity Dome. And that's 150 children come every week to enjoy football, which might not have been an opportunity they could have had without what we do and the community work that we work with local organisations. We're committed as an organisation to improve the health and the social well-being of our communities. And I could list all day the impact that we have from, just in Newcastle alone, 1,700 children learning to swim every single week through our leisure centres. Our half and breakfast club offers that we are so needed for families living in poverty. The SEND activity programmes, there's such a demand for a diverse set of programmes across our full country, and targeted approaches to breaking down cultural barriers to coming and being physically active. And I'll just leave you with one brief example. We run a HealthWise scheme across the country. It's like an exercise referral scheme, and there was a lady in Newcastle, 69-year-old, retired doctor, and she got referred into our scheme because for 10 years her sight was deteriorating to the point where she'd lost all independence to come and be physically active. And her doctor referred us into our programme, and she came to East End Pool in Vaitkute and was supported by our HealthWise facilitator, Amanda. And for 12 weeks she had that guided support where she learnt the spatial awareness of the gym environment. The swim teachers guided her in and out of the pool to learn what the pool environment was like. And after 12 weeks, she's now independently back coming to our leisure centres and using the facility 3 times a week. And without the support from our staff making that impact, that wouldn't have been possible. And that is one story of millions that happen day to day across the GLL estate. And we're really proud of it.
So we have an amazing panelist, and I'm going to put Rose on the spot. So Rose, you always said, and if you ever listened to her in a speech, was cooperatives are fantastic because they can provide solutions, and they look for problems or challenges in our society, and they provide solutions. And actually, every single one of you, when we have that tension in our society, in our community, it's like every one of you have an amazing solution that's driven through change, transformation, and just literally changed people's lives. But at the same time, you guys are heroes. I mean, real heroes. But it's also you guys are the heroes too, because there's a lot of stuff to learn here. And I want to actually start a conversation in this room as much as possible. If you have any questions for individual people on the panel or the whole panel, please ask away. I think it's your time as well as our time. So I'm going to ask, who has a question? Anyone have a question? All right. We can take one or two or three at a time if you want.
Question for Larke. When you spoke, you said you faced some challenges that you'd talk about later. I thought maybe you could tell us about some of those challenges. I'm from a social housing co-op as well, so I have an interest in that.
All right, is there another question? Okay, at the front here.
Hi, I'm Glen from Compass. We're a co-op development agency in Wales. Question for another Glen, actually, in terms of how can we get to scale, in terms of where we've got a really good model where we can earn money and provide a good service. How can we get more people to take the journey with us? And a bigger question is it time we stop apologising for profit? Because profit is power, and profit allows us to expand and provide more activities.
All right, I think that's a question for most of the panel as well. One more, a woman, come on girls. Is there a woman? We've got Rachel right here.
Thank you. My name is Rachel. I'm also a co-op colleague, cooperative group colleague, and for supporting survival of modern slavery, I remember a few years back when the co-op took on the challenge and so I was championing it. And also I remember being a navigator for survivors that we've given job to in stores. I've seen that phased out within the group, and I haven't seen a sort of natural progression to have more survivors coming to stores or giving them jobs and supporting them. Is that a way to sort of bring that back into the room? Thank you.
Okay, so Larke, do you want to?
Thank you. The challenges of social housing are difficult enough, being a social housing co-op, or even more so. In Scotland, there are only 7 social housing co-ops left. And we're fighting desperately to try and promote that model as much as we can. But without national backing, it's a very, very difficult struggle. Funding is a really big issue, but land is a very big issue. But more than anything else is the governance of the co-op model is the issue with the regulator and lots of other bodies. I think the real reason is there's a stigma around how could a tenant possibly be sitting in a boardroom and, you know, governing and running a business. And it's something that we have done a huge amount of work to fight against, but not only to fight against, but to demonstrate that it is possible. And not only you can do it well, but you can do it excellently. And you're having people in the boardroom making decisions about their community, and that is a real democratic model. And when you see that in action, the empowerment that that gives to people is just incredible. And what it makes, we're honoured to work for that co-op. It's in our blood, I think, and our tenants are absolutely paramount in everything that we do. The amount of times that we've helped tenants out with cost of living in the past year, we've applied for over £15,000 through the Energy Redress Fund just to help tenants with their gas and electricity costs. For every new tenant that moves in to a home, we top up their meter with £50 credit for their gas and electric. We carpet homes. If we go out to see somebody and their washing machine's not working, or their fridge freezer or the cooker, we'll go and replace that for them. So that's all done through rental income, not anything else. So we absolutely invest back into that community. So to say that a co-op model doesn't work for social housing is ludicrous, and why there aren't more and more, I have no understanding. When I look at a housing association and the big beasts that we have that exist, there is no difference. Our tenants really matter. We come to work for our tenants. They pay our wages, and it's our job to improve their lives. And the relationship that you have and the difference that you can see coming through week after week, year after year is incredible. So it's why we love what we do.
Glen?
I'm going to say it's a different way of working. So 14, 15 years ago, CDS, CIC span out of a primary care trust. When we're in the trust, our previous clinical director, if he was frugal and saved money, it was taken by other services that weren't. It went into audiology, it went into podiatry. So when we spun out and became a social enterprise and employee owned, if we made a profit surplus, it's ours. and then we can use it for something. It's taken us some time to be able to build up a surplus, and when contracts did come out for procurement, we would go for them. And we grew quite quickly, but that allowed us to make more surplus. So you saw some of my slides, you saw the 2 mobile slides, big advocate of our mobile units. We're able to do things differently. So we, the first slide you saw was a homeless project where we did a survey with not severe multiple disability services, and we were able to evidence a need in that area. Without evidence, you can't procure or get anything funded. We used our money and some of the money from the charity to do that, and then the local authority funded a service for a year. In Norfolk and Waveney, we've worked with Norfolk Foundation and Futures Education Project. We're doing it again this summer. In a 3-day project, we examined 43 high needs patients, 29 had treatment. We've gone to the ICB with the model, and they've actually gone, yeah, you're right, there is a need. And we've started a discussion now about procuring a service using the mobile unit there. You saw the slide with a pop-up clinic. So that's a model we love. We want to get out there, get out of the clinic, go into the community, take care to the people that really need it. Now, that was in Luton. That was funded by the local authority. We got £450 to do that. And I have to say, we had our CEO, a consultant in paediatric dentistry, 4 clinicians, 4 oral health advisors, and 4 nurses. We had 3 stations, 1 for an examination station, 1 which was a fun station for oral health advice. We had a sugar game with pots of sugar and how much sugar's in a can of Coke, 10 spoons. And we had a treatment centre for prevention for fluoride varnish. My finance director has no idea how much, until he sees the money, how much we spent from our surplus on that. It was not £450. So we can do more, and we can do things in a different way. Why the model isn't used more, I think it's different. It's change. It's different. But we have to just get the message out that we can do things in a different way. We can come up with different ideas, novel ideas, and it can work better.
Did you want to do the modern slavery?
Thanks for the question about Bright Future in the Co-op group. I think what's interesting about the way in which Bright Future has evolved, so it initially began as a project within the Co-op group. So when we were proving the concept, we were focusing on creating opportunities within Co-op group. As other employers got involved, the placements started to go elsewhere. So initially, it was all about placements within food retail. The survivors that we support through Bright Future have a whole host of dreams, ambitions, skills. Much as I love the Co-op group and food retail, not necessarily everyone wants to work in food retail, so we've expanded opportunities. Mid-counties are doing childcare opportunities. We've got placements going on in some of our suppliers, Greencore, Backavor. So lots of different opportunities, but actually to grow and in order to give people the opportunities that they want, I would love for every single employer in this room to join us and to actually offer those opportunities. So I mean, like GLL, so inspired by your story. I used to use one of your gyms until I moved away. Wouldn't it be great if someone like you could offer opportunities for Bright Future survivors, not just the opportunities that, we have available now, something that that would fulfill, skills, ambitions. Modern slavery survivors are not a homogenous group. They've got a whole range of, skills, backgrounds. So I would love to be able to offer those opportunities. So I think there's a few Bright Future directors. Put your hands up, please. Pete, I can see you. Zuna, you're nearly a director very soon. Please come and find, if you're an employer that has opportunities, please come and find us, because we need to be more than the group that we are today. And if Patrick Grant is here, maybe he's left, I would love for them to be part of Bright Future.
Brilliant. Does any of the panel would like to comment on any other, either upscaling or the business model, or even what Alison's just said?
Yeah, I just wanted to come in on, I guess, the point over there about how we scale it up. And I think just to say, I mean, GLL, I think is a proof of how a cooperative organisation can work and be a great model to work with local authorities. You know, we're the UK's largest provider now of leisure facilities and libraries right across, you know, the country. So I think it's a great model to use as an example of how it can work. You know, we've got 11,000 employees across our organisation, and we're really proud that that's a worker-led organisation. They've got a voice. We're unique. We're very different. And I think we've got the power to, we've scaled up. We started in 1993 with one partnership, one centre, and suddenly we're nearly 300 leisure centres across our organisation. We are proof that it can be scaled up and it can be done. And if there is any other local authority partners out there that would like to reach out to us, we're more than happy to have conversations.
And Perry, what about you? Oh, Vilte, sorry.
Not quite on upscaling, but more about spreading the sense of mission and what we do. And I know it's a cliche, but I do say I have the best job in the world because I get to work with amazing people like Larke and really meet people who make a difference and a change. And I use my professional skills in helping people to say their story. And in the process, you know, we make these films, and I always say, let's not rely on comms teams, however great they are, but also use our own voice, and whoever we work with, talk about a cooperative model. And so whether we're working with freelancers, where we're going out talking to procurement teams who have never heard of cooperatives, just bring that back and spend that extra time explaining what it is and how working with you is different and what really matters to you and how you live it by, you know, by the principles.
Perry?
Hello again. So, talking about upscaling. So, I'm going to be honest. I haven't become a member of the co-op. I only found out. Somebody briefed. Oh, don't put me on the spot. But I believe in honesty as the best policy. I was recommended at a co-op conference in Chelmsford, and a good friend of mine, he's a councillor of Chelmsford, Richard Highland. He recommended me to Belinda. Belinda recommended me to Shirley. Shirley invited me here. And just hearing some of the amazing stories about how powerful it is and how communities come together and how it's so inspiring. And if you don't come to events like these, you wouldn't know about it. But here on this stage now, we've got 5 people that are prepared to go above and beyond to do their utmost best for their communities with the size of their teams that are just constantly growing. And I feel that everybody in this room coming together as a collective can make such a massive impact. So when it comes down to upscaling, I struggled with funding, but I'm a strong believer in there is never ever a lack of resources. Never. There's only a lack of resourcefulness. If you say, I can't do that, the part of your brain just shuts down. Like, we need to validate that statement. And then it will give you reasons why you can't achieve that. Whereas if you sit there and say to yourself, how can I achieve it? Instantly now, your brain's like, okay, he wants to achieve it. How can we make it happen? And with the whole funding side of it, what I realized was I was doing a lot of work for the community. So when government funding wasn't being awarded and it was being declined, I reached out to the community. I said, the work we're doing is to support you guys. So do you want to support us back? And the support came in abundance because that's what it's all about. The community coming together, rebuilding that village that once raised the child. I'm a 90s baby, so I know what it was like before technology come around. So I feel like it's so important to bridge that gap and pass on our knowledge to today's youth. And yeah, that's my ethos.
Good, great. Right, so we can take some more questions. All right. One over here.
Hi, tracksuits to suits. I'd really like to hear more about that. How you engage with young people, the people who are destitute, people who, I mean, it's just amazing what you do, and I'd love to hear more.
Okay, we can take another question. Any more questions? Zuna, in the front.
Thank you. Obviously, we heard from Alison about what she would love for the audience to do here. I'd like to hear from the rest of the panel. If there was one ask to the audience, what would your ask be?
Okay, question. One more question. Can we have one more question? Maggie?
This is a question to Perry for 21 Up. It's an amazing story. Congratulations. I'm interested, it's a slightly different model to the others, which are cooperatives. I'm just interested in the team around you, and I imagine you're not doing it by yourself because that's an enormous thing that you're doing. So who do you have working with you? And also, I'm particularly interested in the youth club that started up, and do you have plans to expand that? Because it's definitely something the country needs.
Okay, there we go. I'll start with you. Go.
Okay, so the first question I'll answer is tracksuits into suits and ties. When I first done, so how I got into youth work is I was in construction first. So when I got denied so many opportunities to get into the youth work industry due to my DBS having violence on it from my teens, it was very difficult. So I completely forgot what I was going to say. So it was very difficult. So what I did is I loved music. So I made a song that was, a lot of the young people, when I was asking them, what's your favorite type of genre? What's your favorite music? They said, oh, drill, love drill, love drill. I was like, isn't it a bit violent? Isn't it a bit negative? And I was like, oh yeah, but like, that's the best genre. So I was thinking, okay, cool. Okay, how can I use music to engage with young people? So I made a song called Choices, which was a similar type of instrumental to drill music, but I flipped the narrative. So it had the reverse concept to what drill music was. So instead of talking about violence, I talked about the consequences of violence. And when I did the video, it was actually Usman that helped me put together the first music video shoot that we done. And everyone there was in tracksuits. So every time, what I would do was I would go to different estates all over London and Essex to try and engage with young people because I didn't have no resources. So there I had to become resourceful. So I had to use all of the resources I had in order to try and gain my own referrals. I didn't have a source of funding. So therefore I had to be resourceful again. I spent my savings on snapbacks with my logo on it, and I sold snapbacks to the community because they knew what the money was going to. So tracksuits into suits and ties. I feel that it made me feel good. It made me feel good. I was in construction for such a long time. When I put on a suit for a job interview, it made me feel different. I felt like, yeah, I'm a respectable member of the community. And it just feel, all the men in the room, raise your hand if wearing a suit makes you feel good. Exactly, there we go. And I wanted to have young people experience that.
Too.
I'm sorry. Raise your hand if you're a lady and you love to wear a suit.
Yeah.
I do apologize. But I felt that it was so powerful to give that experience to young people, because in this day and age, I feel that if they're not at school, where are they? They're in a tracksuit. They're chilling with their friends, or if they do have opportunities, are they wearing a suit to them? No. So I wanted them to feel what that felt like. So the narrative, we turn tracksuits into suits and ties. Every time we're invited to a conference, a business event, 21 Up movement young people will be the best dressed in the room because it just makes them stand out and it makes them feel good. And I think that's a very powerful testament to have for young people. So yeah, that's where it came from.
Right. Alison, what more? We had a question about what more can you ask from the audience?
I'm definitely joining the cult. 100%. 100%, because the amount of support, sometimes we don't realize how much support is out there. It's seek and you shall find. Someone upstairs said, how do you engage so well with young people? And I said to them, I said, I wanted to become a good mentor. I wanted to become an effective mentor. I wanted to make the biggest impact I could potentially make on a young person's life. I can use my lived experience, because there are some lessons in life we have to feel them. We can't just learn them from a textbook. I said, I could go to college, I could go to university and get a degree in psychology, but you can't learn certain lessons in a textbook, you know? And I feel like that was my advantage. So yeah, I started reading how to become a better mentor. I read a book called Effective Mentoring. And what I took from that book, the most powerful statement in that book was, in order to become the most effective mentor, you need to be there for your mentees in times of crisis. So like I said upstairs, that's when I got a second phone, and all of the people that I mentored, all of the young people I worked with, I gave them my number so that they would always have that network of support. Because say, for example, you're seeing a young person once a week. What about the next day? What about the day after that? What if they're going through a time of crisis and you're the only person they feel they can open up to? So I feel like that's how I became an effective mentor, by just educating myself, because there are many, many more effective mentors before me, and there'll be many, many more after me.
So would your advice be that you would love the audience to be mentors? Am I right?
We're all mentors in our own right, 100%. But in terms of what could I ask, is that, you look us up, and any support that you could give to the 21 Up movement, because someone was asking in terms of our team, and it's been a tough journey, because I came out of construction with no experience at all. I just took the biggest leap of faith you could ever come across. But I'm glad that I did do it, because I know it's not always going to be a struggle. I know that good things take time, and I also know that anything worth having is worth working hard for. And seeing how much support there is in this room, I know that there's going to be an abundance of support for the 21 Up movement when we all come together as a collective, because hearing all of you guys at the front and seeing how much support you're receiving from the audience, that's what we're all here for, to support our communities, to support the next generation, and I'm all about that. I love that.
Right, so Alison, thank you.
So what my ask of the audience would be probably a personal note, really, is to say support your local leisure and library services. They are absolutely vital parts of our communities. They offer a lot more than just a gym or a swimming pool. They're places people go to, meet people, to, it might be the only interaction they get all week. They're vital facilities for people in our communities. And look up who your local provider is. If it's GLL, then know that we are a non-for-profit social enterprise cooperative workforce. And that's really important. And if you have an organisation that can link in and think you can work with GLL, then get in touch with your local provider, because we can't do what we do on our own. Everything I do in Newcastle comes down to a lot of partnership work with either local authorities, the NHS, local charities, organisations. And through our partnership work, we thrive. And it's local people running our leisure facilities. And that is what the co-op movement is all about, isn't it?
We all, whatever industries you're in, as a cooperative, we're evidently going against the grain. We're fighting an unequal battle. And so I guess my big ask would be space, physical space. Thank you, Rochdale Council. Digital space. So places where we can meet, where we can share things, and especially in Scotland, cooperative movement, has been cracking on, but we are very much struggling on having places to meet and talk to each other. And if we could get through that step, we will be more visible and we will be able to do more because we'll be connecting more. So space.
So my ask would be a difficult one, but I think it's a necessary one, and it's change. I think without change, nothing is going to change, nothing is going to happen. We all sit and we all talk, but we need to affect change. How do we affect change? We have to make people feel important. Everybody has a voice. You have to engage those people. How do you engage them? You bring them together for a sense of purpose, and you make them believe that they matter, and you give them control over what they do. That is, in essence, a co-op. So in terms, sorry, just want to say very briefly, the UK government has pledged to double the amount of co-ops and mutuals. I actually think we need to go a bit further. I think we need to ask the existing co-ops and mutuals, do you have what you need? Do you have what you need to continue to grow? Are you lacking in resources? Because if you are, then the co-ops and the mutuals that are coming up behind you are going to meet exactly the same issues. So change is what we need. Thank you.
I'm going to say the audience gets it. That's why you're here. You understand that things can be done differently. But not everybody out there does. It's getting the message across that a cooperative, a social enterprise, an employee-owned organisation can make a difference, can make a change, can do things in a positive way. Again, I'll go back to one of my slides. As an employee-owned organisation, you saw the team next to a clothes rail. In Derbyshire, they noticed that there was a need within our service to provide some free clothes for children. It started off with just school uniforms, and it spread to clothes rails. It's in a reception area, in a discrete area, so parents and children can go and help themselves if they need something. That's now spread to all other areas that we have. And again, so that, Glen, sorry, if we don't make a surplus, we can't do the social good. So we have to make a surplus. But it's spreading that message that we can do things differently and it can work.
Denise, am I allowed to? I have one more ask.
Yes, I know. I can guess what it is.
No, I think maybe. Bright Future operates on a shoestring. We have a tiny, tiny budget. Actually, but what is most important to us and our success and our ability to fulfill our vision of providing employment for survivors of modern slavery are opportunities with employers. It's not about the money. More money would be nice, but actually it's about how can you work with other organisations who share your vision? I'm sure it'd be great if Morrison's gave us £100,000, but I would so much rather have 100 placements for survivors of modern slavery. So kind of my ask to you would be to open your mind about the resources that are out there and who could you work with to make your vision a reality, and to think broad and wide. I mean, I think it's been surprising to those of us already within the cooperative movement that we've been able to bring others to catch our vision and to get involved with us. So kind of be curious, use your networks and bring those resources in wherever they are and whoever has them.
Brilliant. Alison, I thought you were going to mention your pledge card.
Oh, I was going to mention the pledge card.
Mention the pledge card.
Well, the pledge card, if I had it. Oh, sorry. If I had the pledge card and I hadn't left it on my bed yesterday morning, the pledge is to work with us to create employment opportunities for survivors of modern slavery, and ask your employer or any employer you know, can you help us with that? And there are loads of employers in the room, so come and find me afterwards, please.
So hopefully you've felt inspired. We've talked about supporting our local libraries and our local leisure centres. We've talked about supporting our youth work and what's happening with our young people, spaces, digital places, change, thinking differently about our resources and what we have. But a huge thank you to our heroes. Definitely amazing. All right, one more thing. We're between lunch here, so go on. You got it?
good.
Hello? Yeah.
Yay.
You can hear me? Here we go. Yeah, so everything everyone's said, I just noticed, is about change. It's like change starts within us all. Like, if you want to see something change what you can do, what you have control of. Because when we change together as a collective, sometimes day by day, nothing changes, but when you look back, everything's different. Change happens when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change. A lot of young people that I worked with at the start were very heavily involved with gang affiliation and knife crime. And when you talk to other youth workers, other youth organizations, the reason they do youth work involving knife crime and why they started their organizations was because they lost a loved one to knife crime. So that's what sparked it for them. One thing I feel strongly about is you can't cure death. You can't. However, it can be prevented. There are things that we can do, like preventary measures. Like prevention is better than cure. Yeah, and I feel that, let me give you an example. So I did a workshop with some parents, and I asked them, I said, what would you do faced with a situation where you saw three young people held up at knife point and being robbed? What would you do? Would you intervene? No, I wouldn't. No way. And so, what would you do? Well, maybe I would tell someone else, or maybe I would tell a security. Maybe I would call the police. I said, but you wouldn't intervene. What if they was attacked? Would you intervene? No, I wouldn't. I'm thinking, okay. Do you have children? They said, yes. I said, what would you want someone else to do? Would you want them to intervene? They said, well, yeah, of course. I said, yeah, but you could have been that someone else. So therefore, a change could have happened within you. I'm not saying something so dramatic. I'm just giving you a dramatic demonstration of where it comes from. The change happens within us. So sometimes it's about reflection, sitting down thinking, what can I do to make a difference? Because I guarantee it, if every single person in this room, panel included, made a change today, we'd have a better tomorrow. And yeah, I'm going to end on that note.
All right, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. And once again, thank you to the panel who've been absolutely inspirational and absolute heroes. So anyway, it's lunchtime. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you to our amazing heroes, Larke, Glen, Vilte, Alison, Perry and Alison, and of course to Denise. So we're now going to the lunch break. Food and refreshments are available in the old council chambers downstairs. Back here for 2:15, please, for Cooperatives for International Development. Thank you.